Imagine dedicating 27 years of your life, 27 years, to transforming the lives of children, only to learn that your work and their futures are potentially being uprooted. That is a reality that Pappas Rehabilitation Hospital for Children may face. This is a staple in the community of Canton. It's been there since like the early 1900s, okay? And guys, a lot of people are upset about this. I got a ton of emails and messages on this one. So apparently there was some levels of study done, and it's really boiling down to one of two things. Number one is the budget. Number two is they are also claiming that the place can no longer accommodate the high-tech care needed that the patients need, essentially, okay? And, you know, decisions like this really dismantle a legacy, but they also dismantle the essential care and the community that it provides. Whenever you take somebody from point A to point B, especially if it's a long-run staple in the community, okay, it's not a good thing. It's just not a good thing. You don't have that same, like, these places just have a life to them, okay? And when you're taking it from one place to another, it's hard to regain that. I think you guys can understand what I'm talking about. And I'm going to get into my issues with this, but I just got to say, like, when you, like, these are, I believe, state-run facilities, I would think that if this is a budget issue or if it's in a condition that's not up to speed, why didn't they put money into these places to begin with, right? Why didn't they do that? It's really crazy to me. Let me share this with you. This is what they had on the news.
Erica, good evening. This hospital has been open since 1907, and the families of the children who have been cared for here.
Crazy.
Erica, good evening. This hospital has been open since 1907, and the families of the children who have been cared for here say it has changed their lives. But the governor says the facility itself has been neglected for so long, it can't be fixed. Located on 160 acres in Canton, the Pappas Rehabilitation Hospital has not only classrooms and dorm rooms, but also a basketball court, a horse track, and a boat dock on a nearby lake.
I mean, miracles happen here.
And it was a great experience for her.
Naomi Angoff Ched and her husband Graham Ched were so pleased with their daughter's 13 years at Pappas, they made this documentary about the facility and were surprised to learn that the state now plans to shut it down.
I think it's tragic, and I think it's shameful that they're going to do this. I think this is a unique facility for kids with very complex special needs.
We don't make these proposals lightly.
Governor Healy says Pappas's facilities have long been neglected, and state officials say it would cost tens of millions of dollars to bring them up to date.
You know, one of these places we can't actually move more people in because the conditions are really poor.
So instead, the state plans to transfer some of the 36 residents here to another state hospital in Westfield, which currently cares for adults, and discharge others to the care of their families.
What we know is that many of those children actually could be better cared for, more safely cared for, more compassionately cared for at home with their parents.
That's a bold statement.
The state says some of the 225 people who work at this hospital will also be transferred to the facility in Westfield between now and sometime this fall. The state says it doesn't yet know what it's going to do with the buildings here, but it says there is no truth to reports that this will be converted to an emergency shelter.
It probably will.
Canton, David Bieniek, WCV.
You know, she said here it's going to cost tens of millions of dollars. The fact is, why did they let it get this far? As I said earlier, why did they let it get to the point where it's in the condition that it's in? Why didn't they invest some money into this place that, again, it's a staple of the community, okay? It just blows my mind that now that it's gone too far, they let this place go to some extent, and now they want to transfer everybody out of this place to another hospital that apparently, based on what I read, is like 100 miles away. All right, 100 miles away. And God only knows if the employees of this place are going to, they're saying that they are, okay? The state is saying that they're going to maintain their jobs, but who knows, okay? Who knows? It's crazy. And then there's also the talks of potentially turning it into a migrant shelter. Like, I don't think the state goes around closing places without at least some knowledge of what they're going to do with the place after it closes, okay? There's no possible way that happens. You don't just close a place without an inkling of what you're going to do with it. I don't believe that's true. And while it may not turn into a migrant shelter or whatever, it raises the question, if this is not good enough for the people that are there now, how is it good enough for, to be converted into a migrant shelter? Are they not going to have to pour some money into it then? Like, it's really crazy. I'm actually going to read this is a really good article I'm going to share with you that details some of the employees and what they have to say, so on and so forth. And it says Massachusetts Governor Healey plans to close Canton Children's Rehab Hospital, rattles community, almost criminal. Norwood resident Michelle Sweeney has worked with hundreds of Massachusetts' most vulnerable children and young adults in Pappas Rehabilitation Hospital for Children over a quarter of a century. Sweeney celebrated her 27th work anniversary next month at the Canton-based facility that provides essential services for those with severe disabilities. Says she's seen patients thrive as many have reunified with their families, entering adult group homes, or gained independent apartments. But Pappas' future hangs in the balance. Sweeney and her colleagues learned last week that the Healey administration intends to close the facility and move services to Western Massachusetts Hospital in Westfield, over 100 miles away, to save costs. The air got sucked out of the room, Sweeney told the Herald of her reaction to the development. The tears started flowing, and don't get me wrong, this was not about me. The immediate thought was on every patient in that place. State public health officials have said that the move is part of a comprehensive strategy to improve the delivery of care for children with complex medical needs. They've highlighted how recent studies determined the Canton facility is unable to accommodate the kind of technology and high acuity care that many children with significant disabilities need. I think that they should be the ones that determine that, okay? The people that are there, that are working there, and also the family members, okay? But obviously, I don't think they have a say here. The pending closure, coinciding with the plan to shut down the Pocasset Mental Health Center, a 16-bed psychiatric hospital in Bourne, came to light last week in Governor Maura Healey's $62 billion budget proposal for the next fiscal year. Healey has touted her spending request, a 7.4% increase over the current fiscal year, as balanced and fiscally responsible attempt to conform to slower revenue growth in the post-pandemic era by relying on voter-approved surtax to buoy spending. Budget cuts to specific programs are aimed at saving cash. Wasn't she just on there talking about, or I read an article about the millionaire taxes generating all this money? Well, where's that money, right? Consolidating hospitals under the Department of Public Health, officials have projected would save the state $31 million. The plan puts at least 281 state jobs at risk of being eliminated. More than 225 employees at Pappas would be affected if the plan goes through. Many staffers, however, have homes in the Canton area and are parents of school-aged children. Commutes each way would jump an hour or more. There have been so many promises that jobs won't be lost, special education teacher Kim Daly told the Herald, and I'm not quite sure. If there's an option for people to go to Westfield, but geographically, that is unrealistic. A DPH spokesperson has said the agency would work with labor partners to identify appropriate opportunities for staff. Sweeney, Pappas' physical therapy supervisor, and Daly, a Franklin resident in her 15th year at the hospital, said the potential loss, though, is all about the impacts on their patients who range in the age of 7 to 22 years old and have physical and cognitive disabilities as well as chronic and medically complex conditions requiring hospital-level care. Pappas established over a century ago and provides 24/7 nursing care, therapeutic services including speech and language, occupational, physical, and recreational, and programming to advance independent living skills, among other services. Patients learn music, technology, physical education, and art, along with general curriculum in classrooms and other settings on this 160-plus acre campus. Daly said teachers are constantly collaborating with therapists, she added. The students are at the center of everything we do. The campus offers a fully accessible swimming pool, an arena for horseback riding, a kitchen where patients learn to prepare snacks and meals, specialized equipment for children in wheelchairs to walk in the hallways, specialized tricycles, and more. Sweeney highlighted her fears that if the services are moved west, the group classroom setting will no longer be accommodated and one-on-one tutoring will become the norm. It's a model that individualized to our facility, she said. You don't have an entire special education school at a hospital. We are incorporating their therapeutic interventions from the minute they wake up until the end of their day. That's the thing, guys. I'm reading and thinking at the same time. It's a lot different being like at a facility versus being at a hospital. And I think it's a lot more accommodating to not only the employees, but also the children to be in an environment that doesn't feel like a hospital per se. Okay. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I think. Pappas is licensed for 60 beds, but is only serving 36 patients. State public health officials have said more than half are over 18 and are awaiting discharge to more appropriate settings. Some patients will be transferred to the Western Massachusetts Hospital, where the state says they intend to renovate a wing housing a 25-bed dedicated pediatric care program equipped with enhanced medical infrastructures. Others may move to the various facilities across the Bay State that can accommodate their specific needs. Officials have said that the transfers will happen over the next 6 to 9 months. What we know is that many of those children actually could be better cared for, more safely cared for, more compassionately cared for at home with their parents. Public Health Commissioner Robbie Goldstein. You know, he said that in that article or in that interview. I don't know how this one person can make that determination what is best for somebody else's child. Okay. The Massachusetts Nurses Association condemned the planned closure. In a statement, it said Western Massachusetts Hospitals is one of the state's public health hospitals already at over 90% capacity. Pappas employees are racing to convince Healy not to close their facility, pushing a large social media campaign and encouraging everyone to reach out to their state lawmakers. The Healy administration has said legislative approval is not needed for the closures. We need legislators' support to invest in Pappas, Sweeney said. If we aren't investing in the most vulnerable children in our state, I don't know what else we should be investing in. That is such a good quote. Such a good quote. In my eyes, she added, it's almost criminal to not provide them absolutely everything that Pappas can provide them with. State Senator Paul Feeney and Representative Bill Galvin, both representing Canton, expressed their disappointment and concerns in the statements about what they called a unilateral decision that didn't include input from the stakeholders and the community members. You know I have a huge problem with that. Please know I am using my platform to ask that they reconsider this decision for the sake of children who depend on Pappas for their quality of life and well-being. More than 10,000 people are echoing Galvin's call. As of Sunday afternoon, a change, and I'll get into this, the Change.com petition seeking reconsideration from state officials had collected 10,620 signatures in just 4 days. In her budget proposal, Healy also pitched reducing the number of state mental health case managers from 340 to 170. The governor argued the costs of services and doing business in Massachusetts are increasing, and key sectors like healthcare, education, and housing are stressed under heightened demand from residents. No kidding, okay? We all know why. There are no words I could put together to say why Pappas is so important, Daly said. Come see for yourself, because no matter what anybody says, you think you get it, but you don't until you see it for yourself. Now, let me see here. Here's the petition. Let me pull this up. Yeah, this is the petition. Reconsider the closure of Pappas Rehabilitation Hospital for Children. So there's been an additional over 1,000 signatures since yesterday. I'm not going to read all this, guys. But, you know, the fact of the matter is this. We have one guy on here saying that they're talking out of both sides of their mouth a little bit. In one hand, they're saying that they're going to get better care at a facility 100 miles away. Remember, that could be 100 miles away from where their families are, so on and so forth. That's on one hand. On the other hand, they're saying that these children could get better care at home. How could somebody make that determination that is not the mother or father of these children. That blows my mind, okay? I don't know how somebody could come out and even say that publicly. The only people that know how much care and what the best care is that these children need are the people that are currently working for them. And it's really, really shameful that it's come down to something like this, where this is I believe, state-run facility that they've let go, at least to a point, and that also that they don't want to reinvest money in. Obviously, the people that work there, the families of the children that are there, and the community does not want to see this place closed. So I'm in agreement with this. I don't necessarily think this place should be closed, because I think that they're going to turn this into something that's either for profit or for something that they need or they deem they need. All right. And that is just crazy to me. And to not involve the public, to not involve you guys into a massive change like this it's really, really shameful. Okay. It's really, really shameful. You guys should have more, like, the public should be able to determine to a point of what gets done and what doesn't get done, especially if it's within their community. Okay, certain things I can understand, right? But something like this, that's a staple in the community, you're just going to pull everybody out of there and shove them into another hotel, or another hospital, and say that you're this is a higher tech facility, you'll be okay. I don't know if that's necessarily true. On top of that, as I said earlier, I think that both the employees that work there and the children that are there may not want to be in a more hospital-like setting, right? It's more, being in a facility that's designed for taking care of these children versus going to a hospital and trying to like retrofit things. I just don't see how it's going to have the same exact impact as something that's been a long-standing facility for almost like 100 years. Or is it over 100 years? Yeah. So that's my opinion on this, guys. I'm going to leave a link to the change.org petition in the description below. If you are... if you want to help them out, please consider signing this petition. I think it'll go a long way. And, my heart goes out to the families, to the children, and also to the employees that don't know whether or not they're essentially going to have a job. They're going off of somebody's promise. And I don't know, guys. So that's it for today's video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.